If you look at the drum, it is ordinary people of South Africa. There is a scientist, there is a soccer player, there is a tractor, someone working on a tractor. There are many people of South Africa, ordinary people of South Africa. This simply says Parliament has, since the dawn of democracy, sought to make this institution a place where ordinary voices can be heard. Ordinary people of South Africa have found their voice through the establishment of a democratic South Africa.
Welcome back. You are still watching Parliament TV, coming to you live from the City Hall. Earlier on, we spoke to the usher of the Black Rod. We are now joined by the Sergeant at Arms to tell us about how things are done in his house. That house would be the National Assembly. Good afternoon, Mr. Tabello Maleme, and we are glad to have you this afternoon, just before we go to the State of the Nation address at about 7 p.m. Can you just explain to us what is the significance of the maize in the National Assembly?
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for having me. The significance of the maize in the National Assembly, it symbolizes the authority of the Speaker, and it is an indication that the House is officially in session. Yes.
So with the maize, we have seen that it's quite different to what was used before 1994. Can you also kindly assist us as viewers and people here in the studio as to what is the meaning of all these symbols that are attached to it?
Yeah. Well, one of the parts that really stands out about the maize, right on top, you would see that there is a drum there. And the importance of a drum in an African tradition is that drums in the past were used to call people to gather and speak. So this is important because it says that the transition of from apartheid to democracy in South Africa was achieved through dialogue, and that is very important. But also, just around the drum, you would see that it has got an artwork of different people. There's a soccer player, there's a nurse, there's ordinary people of this country. That too says that when members of parliament are gathered and they are, debating issues that affect ordinary people in this country, they do so for ordinary people who actually send them to parliament to represent them. The other thing about maize, on top there's a book there. It represents the Constitution, and this is important because it says Parliament, when it conducts its business, it seeks to align itself to the principles that are enshrined in our Constitution. Yeah, that should be.
It looks like quite an expensive maize. How do you ensure, as the Sergeant at Arms, or how does the National Assembly ensure that it's secured?
Well, I can say that we do have a place where we ensure that it is secured. The area is not easily accessible, and it is locked, and the maze is in a safe. So we do our best to ensure that it is safely secured.
Speaking of its security and its protection,
Yes.
on the 2nd of January 2022, as you know, that we all woke up to the fire that gutted the National Assembly. Was the maze affected? And if it was affected, what is going to be replacing the maze tonight when the President delivers his State of the Nation address?
No, well, the building where we store the maize, it was indeed affected, we must say. But because of the security that we have put around, safely securing it, it was not affected. We were able to take it out, and we will have the maize tonight when the President addresses the nation.
Mr. Malema,
Yes, ma'am.
you are referred to as the Sergeant at Arms. I remember when I came to Parliament, when I heard the word Sergeant at Arms, I thought of someone who would be wearing a military regalia,
Yeah.
only to find that the Sergeant at Arms was wearing a gown, as
Sure.
we have come to normally associate the mace and the Sergeant at Arms with the gown. Can you kindly tell us what is the background of this name, Sergeant at Arms?
Yeah. It's quite interesting, and every time when I think about it, it actually, one of the reasons why I feel proud to be a member of this country, and to be serving in the role. The word Sergeant at Arms is actually derived from a Latin word which means servants. Loosely translated, it means a servant. So that's why I say I sometimes take pride when I actually think about it. Like I am here to serve. I'm a servant of the people. I'm a public servant, and so yeah, that's basically where the word Sergeant at Arms was derived from.
Being of service, we have seen during the National Assembly debates and during the State of the Nation address where things don't go the way they are planned according to the program, and we will see the Sergeant at Arms being approached to actually remove some members of the National Assembly. Can you just tell us what role do you really play in the removal of members from the chamber? And if a member refuses to leave, what are the impacts of that on you as well as the member that refuses to leave the chamber?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I must indicate that, when the Speaker issues an instruction that a member should leave the House, under normal circumstances, members do, obey the instruction of the Speaker and they leave. But in instances where they do not do so, that's when the Speaker says, I will now request the Sergeant at Arms to help the member to leave the House. My role then, my role is activated by what the Speaker says after maybe she has tried to say to a member, please leave the House, and the member does not leave. So when that happens, the Speaker then says, I will now request the Sergeant at Arms to help the member leave the House. And I will approach the member, indicate that the instruction of the Speaker has to be obeyed. The Speaker has requested that you leave the House. Please do leave the House. And in many instances, members do agree to leave. But where that does not happen, I then have to go back to the speaker and report that the member that you requested to leave the house does not want to leave the house, and there are other processes that follow after that, which ensures that a member is indeed escorted out of the house. So there is parliamentary protection services that gets activated at that point as well.
Sergeant at Arms, would it be fair to say your responsibilities, they end with you ushering the Black Rod and also activating the instructions of the speaker during the debates? Or are there other tasks that you are expected to do as the Sergeant at Arms in the events like when the House goes on recess or they are on constituency period?
Of course. Yes, I mean, currently the Sergeant at Arms in our South African Parliament is also responsible for one of the units in the National Assembly, which is Table Administration Unit. And we deal there with things like your business reports that the monthly reports that we have to compile, issues that relate to the administration, the procurement of